Here's another Monogram Pictures film. Remember that studio? They also did that weird movie with Boris Karloff called The Ape, and that pretty good Bela Lugosi film Invisible Ghost. I haven't really seen the so-called bad Monogram Pictures though, except I think this one, Mystery Liner, is what you'd consider as typical for their studio. It's this really slow-moving murder mystery, which is surprising since it's only 62 minutes long. It has a large cast of characters, none of which really stand out, and the story gets lost at times, meandering through different plot lines that don't amount to much. This cruise is about to become experimented on as the first remote-controlled ship, but through some really confusing editing, you find out there's these bad guys trying to take the ship for themselves. That's when you realize they've put one of their own men on board, which means we spend most of the movie looking for a culprit. Before the ship takes off, the captain himself goes insane, which is never really fully detailed how this happens, and the professor's neck is terminally broken. It's up to the new captain and this gang of characters to take charge of the boat for a successful experiment, while also figuring out another murder that occurs later on. It's an interesting enough plot that could easily fill up 62 minutes, and the first time watching, I was sad at how bored I got, but maybe I was just too confused. A lot of the cinematic storytelling doesn't work effectively, parallel editing is never established in a coherent manner, and there's hardly any establishing shots. It takes a lot of focus and prior knowledge to figure out many of these opening scenes. Then there's a lot of pointless moments between the cast that sometimes go nowhere. There's conversations that I guess are meant to establish their characters, but a lot of the humor is a miss, and there's not much investment to be made. There's a couple standouts. I like the snooty mustache guy, and I love Granny. She oftentimes steals the show with her offbeat charisma, but most of the time, you're just being told exposition. I actually had to give it a second watch after being confused about some plot elements. To be honest, the second viewing was overall better. The characters were still bland, but having a better understanding of what's actually occurring on screen helps to make for an interesting mystery. It's just too bad that the first half of the film really doesn't have a crime to solve. It only shows up in the second half. It at least keeps me guessing at who the culprit could be, but in the end, it's a scenario I've seen played out before. It's I bury the living, it's murder by television, it's the monster walks. The culprit is the one person you wouldn't expect. Other than that, it was really cool to see a movie that takes place entirely on a boat, and to see some neat predictions on technology. The crew contacts the mainland through this handwriting computer thing. It's really interesting, and it's funny that we actually have that today on our iPhones. This is not really a good film, but the short runtime, interesting plot, and satisfactory ending make for a very so-so flick. I'd say give it a pass unless you're really interested in early cinematic mysteries. Thanks for watching the video. A special thanks to Chris and Ryan for supporting me on Patreon. If you'd like to join them in getting exclusive videos and blogs, early access, and even be able to request reviews monthly, then please click on the Patreon link, and thanks for the support. Do you like talking about movies just as much as I do? Well, check out the new podcast, Cinema Swamp. It's a podcast that stars me and my friend Hunter. We just started it, and we have a couple episodes on Soundcloud if you'd like to check it out. Please click on the link below and share it around. If you like it, we'll definitely be doing more in the future.